All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Thelma's podcast. Today I have a lovely guest. Lovely. Let's see. Does that work? Hey.
Hello,
Hi,
hi.
Trisha. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Not too bad. How have you been?
I've been all right. How's motherhood, first of all?
Oh,
How's that?
it's okay. Yeah, Isabella was a bit sick just recently. Um, so yeah, not great. Yeah, I mean it happens, doesn't it? Babies get sick quite often, I found. But yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, you know the
Honestly,
drill. You know you know the drill.
listen, I've been there and yeah, I mean motherhood is great, but there are some sleepless nights when they get sick and teeth are growing and stuff. But listen, this is all a journey that we've been through as ourselves. Our parents went through that, so
Yeah, yeah,
so
exactly.
Trisha, so tell us more about when did you start in the filmmaking industry? When did that started for you?
Um, I mean, I haven't really worked in film, I don't think, as such. It's more television. Um, yeah, there's little things that I've done um around film, or I've worked on a short film, but mainly I've worked in television.
Nice one. So what television shows did you work on, or what exactly do you do in television?
So I was recently on maternity leave. So I took time off for that. And then I took redundancy. But prior to that, I'd been working as an archive researcher, archive producer, or archivist in television, mainly in kind of news and current affairs and factual programming. So those were staff jobs that I had. I've done a little bit of freelance work in that same field, but I've mainly had staff jobs as, yeah, archive researcher, archive producer, and archivist.
So can you tell us what that means? Archive producer, archivist, what does that mean?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
really sure what it means.
yeah. No, I get that. A lot of people say that. So, um, when you watch the news or you watch a documentary, I'm the person that finds the video footage. If it's not been shot by uh, the news team or the program makers, then I'm the person that finds the footage to put into the news report or program. So it could be anything. It could be really old archive footage, or it could just be something from it might be something from another country. We get that quite often on the programs that I've worked on. Might be something from another country, which we wouldn't usually have in our program, um, or news story. Or it could just be, yeah, so it could be something relatively recent, or it could be something really, really old. I think the oldest footage I can think of that we probably used was um, from World War I.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow, nice. So, what did you have to study to become archive what do you call it?
Archive,
Archivist?
yeah, archive producer, archive researcher, or archivist in film and TV. So you can do studies into that. I think that the degree or the master's degrees are called um, library and records management. I don't have that. I just sort of built up the experience on the job, but you can do that. And I think that's really valuable
Mm.
because depending again on the kind of program you're making, you could be dealing with like celluloid, an actual piece of film, and they have to be handled in a certain way. And though I think you'll learn about that. And the same as if you're dealing, with actual artifacts, if you're
Yeah.
watching a historical program or you're at a museum, you'll see actual kind of documents or artifacts that could be hundreds of years old. So when you study things like that, you'll learn about that. But I just built up the experience from working yeah, for different companies. So yeah, I don't have that, but you can do studies into it.
Okay. So as you said, you are on maternity leave at the moment. So
But
when do you
just
think
finished, just
you
finished.
finish?
Yeah,
Okay. Are you finished? Great. So what would the future holds for you? So are you actively looking for work? I mean, in the profession, in television, or are you open for other media work?
yeah. I am looking for work in television at the moment. It's quite difficult at the moment. I don't know if you've spoken to anyone, and yeah, it's been difficult and a little bit not depressing, but yeah, tough to see kind of on LinkedIn and on Facebook people talking about the lack of work. So yeah, a lot of it is the effect of the strikes that are happening in the US, that are having an effect here. And obviously, I think kind of possible recession, upcoming recession, and things like that. That budgets have been cut, and there's not as much that's being made at the moment. Um, so I'm looking for work in television, but I'm definitely thinking about expanding my net a bit wider in terms of my job search. So yeah, hoping something will come up with my transferable skills.
Of course, I wish you all the best for that. And
Thank
you
you.
know, I met you through our lovely friend Tunji. So can you tell me how you met him? Because I know I met you exactly 10 years ago, which is great for me. I still have fond memories. But how did you two meet?
So I met him at a Bec2 event. So Bec2 is uh, the trade union for, so it stands for Broadcasting, Entertainment, Cinematograph, and I think, yeah, trade union. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a TV and film and theatre trade union, entertainment trade union. So I met him at an event. I used to live in Manchester, and they had one of their annual conferences up there, and that's where I met him. Yeah, we just got chatting. Um, yeah, and that was it.
So you were living in Manchester.
Yeah.
So you decided to come to London. Was it for more opportunities or you just wanted to change cities altogether?
Yeah, it was for more opportunities. So I'm not from Manchester originally, but I moved up there and was working there. And then, yeah, the work just wasn't coming again at that time. There just wasn't as much work. I don't know if that's still the case. I think it is. I mean, people kind of say, oh, yeah, but with Media City, there's loads more jobs. And there may be more jobs than there was, 15 years ago. But there's just more opportunities down here because all of the companies that I've worked for, apart from ITV, which I did work for in Manchester and London, they don't have, they're not, they're not in Manchester as well. They're just based in London. So there's just more opportunities down here. And I got work almost as soon as I came back to London.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. I
That
mean,
you're in London. To be honest, for the times I've never met you,
yeah.
but for the work, I mean, can you expand a little bit? What is the seem to be the issue? Because it's not just you say that. I had a few filmmakers that told me the same thing about they have this great idea, but they have to make some cuts budget wise and also staff wise because the money's not there. So what seems to be the issue in the industry at the moment?
So in the US, there are strikes. The writers went on strike and the actors went on strike. And I think even if you're not part of a unionized production, or there's just not really much television and program making, and a lot of the work we have in the UK actually does come from the US, or it's linked to their um, so yeah, the productions just aren't as well, not as many productions are happening. Of course, there are still programs that are being made, but just not as many. And I think, yeah, the cost of living, I think, has affected production companies and television channels as well. I don't know if there's anything else going on, because there's often cuts, well, not often, but every now and then they have cuts at the BBC. And I know that the area that I work in, yeah, it has changed at the BBC, but I don't know if anything is actually, if anything's happening there. So yeah, that's the most I know, and just from what I hear, and unfortunately, I didn't really understand that because I had been on maternity leave. I wasn't plugged in to what was happening in the wider world because
I don't blame you.
yeah, you just go into a bubble, don't you? So
Yeah.
maybe I would have done things differently if I was aware of what was happening. But to the best of my knowledge, I think it's the strikes, and possibly that people, the cost of living has affected, business and the output as well.
Okay, and I want to say a big thank you in the meantime for your time, because I know as a new mom and everything, and you're looking for work, to dedicate this time for me is very, very special for me. So my last question for you be, what would you advise young people that want to be archivists like you? What would you say to them? What would be your main tip?
Um, I I would say just go out there and just contact someone and uh, ask them for work experience if they'd be eligible for work experience, or shadowing. And I think actually what's quite good is the area that I work in is quite niche. So I think you stand a good chance of getting work, than perhaps working in an area that's a bit more general, for want of a better word. Because yeah, I think archive producers and researchers are quite specialized.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just say, yeah, if you want to do that kind of work, just contact a production company, contact a television channel, and I'd say don't necessarily, you can go for the smaller companies, the smaller channels,
Mm-hmm.
rather than the bigger ones, where
Mm-hmm.
it might be even difficult to get work experience. I mean, apply for the big ones as well, but I'd say you can get great experience working for some of the smaller ones. And I'd say that for um, other positions as well. I think it's a good way in.
Yeah, and in I don't know if you are aware, but in secondary school, when you're in year 10, they actually send you to do some work experience. So that could be a very good step. Like if you're thinking, you know what, filmmaking or archivist would be my field,
Mm.
apply now, because every reference is a good reference. So you're right. So apply for work experience, and then small companies, you have to start small, baby steps before you, yeah.
Yeah, I would
Very
say,
good advice.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I suppose I was thinking of slightly older for the for that kind of work experience. But yeah, why not? And I'd say, I think they at the BBC, because I went on their website recently, I think they have work experience, and perhaps ITV as well. I think they have work experience roles. So yeah, maybe that is something that can be done. Yeah, because they
Mhm.
have kind of uh, I don't know what the job title is, but they have someone that works with kind of young people to come in and do that sort of thing at the bigger companies. So yeah, you can. I definitely say try it if that's what you're interested. Yeah, go for it. What's the worst that can happen is a no, but you might get a yes. And just yeah, I just say send them all out, and I'd say you might as well apply to something that you really like. The
Mhm.
first job I had in TV wasn't an archivist position. I was quite young at the time, but growing up, I used to watch Nickelodeon. I used to watch children's TV. And I actually sent a message through their website. I didn't even apply for a job. And I did a couple of weeks work experience. And then uh, the day after that, I was working, freelance for them. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's definitely worth doing.
Well done you for
Yeah.
giving your go. Just you never knew, and you just got something out of it. So well done you. So yeah. So the main advice: just go for it. Apply. The worst can happen is no, but then you move on to another. You never know. There could be a yes, and also. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just send out loads of letters, just send out loads of letters. And if it's something they really, if they wanted to do it and their parents could support them and accommodate them, so they may have their 2 weeks work experience and they did that for 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks? It used to be when I was at school.
Uh, I think it's 1 week. Oh, I can't even remember, but I think it's 1 week definitely. But maybe
Okay.
2. I'm not sure. I need to find
Yeah.
out because my son is in year 10, so I need to find out.
Yeah. So yeah, he could, so if they were that age, they could apply for work experience and they could do their week if they, at X company. But if they wanted to get more experience and their parents could help them and support them, maybe they could do more, if they were interested at other times, because it's always good to just build up that experience. Because I know when I worked at ITV, I definitely worked with people who were 18. So it's good to have, oh, okay, they've got that experience as a teenager. And I'm sure, they could, some jobs, I don't know for health and safety and safeguarding, maybe there's certain jobs you can't do, but yeah, you still might be able to build up that shadowing, and maybe people, if you go in at that age, will give you good advice and say, okay, I'd suggest you do this, why don't you, they'll probably say, I don't know, make your own films or uh, learn how to use this software, something like that.
Yeah, sounds very good. Thank you so much for your
Oh,
insight. I wish you all the best,
thank you.
with looking, finding work. And I'm sure there's something that's going to pop up. I mean, it always does. Even despite the crisis at the moment, I'm sure something's going to pop up because you're very talented. So thank you.
Thank you.
Have a lovely day. And I'm sure we're going to catch up at some point with a
Yeah,
little bit.
I hope so. Yeah, that would be lovely. Thank
Okay.
you. Take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.